All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? Big Marley will be hopping on any second. He will be sharing his screen. I'm on my laptop. I do not know what's going on with Chrome. Right now, we are in a $15 draft. It has not started yet. There is 22 seconds to go. Big Marley's in the 2 spot again. We will share our screen. I'm in the 10 spot. He will be here any second, I believe. Who's in chat right now? What's going on, Ben? Any of you guys in this draft, let us know. Again, I'll have 2 screens. We will screen share this draft. We're going to go through it. You might miss one round. I can read them off as the picks go. If you have any questions, general, drafters, we are drafting on Drafters. If you're not a member, no better time. Drafters.com, 100% matching bonus from $20 to $100. $15 contest, $500K up top, $2 contest as well. They're on their second one. Put in $100. They will match $100. Speaking of the man himself, he is going to be hopping in. Right now, I see him. Let him. He's on the clock, or he might have already drafted. Big Marley, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, my man?
Oh, hold on. I forgot to go to my Ethernet. So just get that screen share up for us, Big Marley, if you can. Yep. Perfect. He's just got back from the gym. Again, we're going to aim for these shows for this week and then next week, 1 p.m. Eastern. Then we're going to move them to the night. But this is the one show you got to be a little flexible. It might be like 5 minutes earlier or something because this time of year, the drafts can take a little time to fill. So we're good to go right now. As you can see, just missed a couple picks. Big Marley in the 2 spot. I'm in the 10 spot. What's going on? Michael Peterson. And if any of y'all are drafting live with us, please let us know. Excited to be back drafting some best ball, Big Marley. How's it going over there?
Yeah, man, me too. Just got out of the sauna, so already sweating. Didn't have time to shower or nothing. Dang, these things filled up fast, dude. That took like 3 minutes for this.
I know. I'm wondering if it is like multiple members or if it's just so I'm on the clock right now. I've been going a lot of Puka. He just got taken a little ahead of me. Love the Jets offense. My guy Aaron Rodgers, Brees, Garrett Wilson. I have a good amount of Wilson, so I'll go Brees. I just fired up these slow drafts. July 5th, woke up with a fat hangover, but I have to spread it out. I knew I was up north, not the best Wi-Fi. Don't want to be locked in on my phone. I'm a slow draft guy. I'm going to Florida in a couple of weeks, so I don't want to have too many drafts going on there with the lady. Want to be locked in. I got my actual wedding late August, so I'm trying to balance. I'm going to max drafters, but how I slow draft, I'm going to try and even it out, and I want to diversify. Right now, you're going to get different ADPs than you will in a month. Back in the day, or I shouldn't say back in the day, last year, the year before, I was drafting the big boards before the draft. I had like 800 of them. I got burnt out. So I don't know. Big Marley, I know you've been absolutely on fire hammering these drafts. So how many you in?
This is 56th on this one. I did 130 of the $2 before it filled. I think I'm probably like 35 deep in the BBM 4 or whatever it is at this point. Maybe a couple of the single entries. So I probably got like 250 under my belt already.
Wow.
Fast.
I was talking to you. I was even looking. I forgot my pick came up so fast. I went Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm fine with it. And I really don't have many 2 running backs teams to start. I think that's pretty unique. So many people on the wide receiver train, and rightfully so. So do I love this? No, but I'm fine auto drafting. I think this combination will be pretty unique with Brees, with Gibbs at ADP. But obviously right now I will not be drafting too many running backs.
But yeah, I got my rankings in. So if I auto draft, I feel like it's going to be all right.
Yep, absolutely. What's going on?
Towards the end of the year, I'm going to start kind of drafting off the rankings to see how much I really like them. Like just let it pick my picks almost for me. Yeah. Except for correlation and stuff. But so far, I don't mind where they're at. I'll just keep queuing in on it each week.
What's going on, Philly Phantom? Following along your work, and we appreciate it. Yeah, okay, this makes sense, Dylan. Sumigos members was in the queue for 30 minutes without it filling. because I was getting scared. Big Marley was on the way back from the gym. I was like, man, we might have to be waiting 15, 20 minutes. Next thing you know, it was 2 to 12 filled right there. So, yeah, members always love having you join these drafts. It's fun join. And I also like basketball is one of the weird things. You actually want to draft with sharp people to an extent. Like you love when teams are so dead, but you hate when people take random. You have Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, and they take Lamar, which Lamar goes before him. So that's not the best example, but you have Drake London and Pitts, and you see Cousins sitting right there, and someone has no Atlanta, and they take it from you. Like you actually want to draft with even playoff best ball. That's when you want it more so. Playoff best ball, you really want to draft with sharp people because there's a very certain strategy to that. But yeah, I love drafting with members.
Yeah, I typed, man, I don't know who it was, but someone sniped me, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I was pissed. So I went in that chat, put the little fish emoji.
Big Marley, they got him tilting. That's good. I love it. Got some early baseball going on.
Had like Chase and Higgins or something like that, and someone took Burrow for no reason. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You already got someone else too.
Nothing worse than getting sniped. But I will say it's a little easy. It's a little better in drafters. Because, again, this is 17 weeks. Week 1 means the same as week 5, which means the same as week 17. It's cumulative points. So it takes your best running back, or 2 running backs, quarterback, etc. But it's not like Underdog and DraftKings where it's 1 through 14. You have to advance out of your pods, and then each week you have to advance out of a separate pod. So the best teams, oh, man, I haven't had much Kyron, too. Obviously, I'm not going to go Kyron. Got to go receiver. Tank Dell or Christian Kirk or Zay. Give me one of those 3. You like Zay?
Zay and then Dell.
Let's go Zay.
I'll go Dell over Zay if I have like Nico already, just for correlation purposes. But right now, I feel like my first like 4 rounds, I definitely go off of rankings.
How
like doing ADP, just kind of whatever falls to me, just kind of getting a little unique that way by getting 2 or 3 fallers.
Yeah, I definitely like that. If things fall, I definitely usually take the ADP because it's harder for that combo, for people to have that combo. So I definitely agree with that. What are your thoughts on like on a drafter site? Of course, Underdog, DraftKings, where correlation means even more. Like I'm fine, Tank, Nico, the Strouds, all that. Like, you're still good using, like, let's say Debo and Ayuk, like 2 high draft picks on a site like this, where again, you're not playing for those spike weeks really in 16, 17. You just want the best team all year. You still like stacking both of that up?
I'm not against it. I would prefer like CMC and then one of those wide receivers. But yeah, I probably got a couple of Ayuk and Debo together. I know I don't know how much I like this, but I know I have a Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and A-Chain all together. Okay. I know for a fact I have CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Purdy. I got all 5
on drafters. See, I don't think I can do that. I think that's but they're all there. But it's like, man, you feel they can't all hit their ceilings like this year.
Yeah, and I don't love it, but I definitely don't hate getting 2 of them. That's for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
But I figured, I might as well. I think there was like a $2 one, I guess, that I got all 5 of them. But I was like, since they're falling to me, I might as well take it.
And I will say, like, if you're drafting, like Big Marley's on 200-something teams, I'm still playing. I mean, I have Drafter Slow, DraftKings, and Underdog Slow. I know I'm not gonna get to the Underdog Millie. Like, I think if you only are picking one site and you're only playing so many teams, Drafters is a spot. I'm not saying that because I won it. I'm not saying that because we have a promo code. I think it's gonna overlay. And it's just such a unique, like, so people are so used to Underdog and DraftKings, they don't really transition their mind to drafters. Like, I won it with Hurts without any receiver. At the end of the day, if you have a rushing quarterback or something and you can't get the stack, you don't need to force it. It's more, I grew up playing season-long fantasy football. I'm a cash game player. It's more that way to think than you're pretty much playing for week 15 or week 16 and week 17 on DraftKings and on Underdog, because that's where all the money is in week 17. So yeah,
I also like that they give you that little beep when you're up on drafters, because I've missed a few picks on Underdog being on my cardio.
Yeah,
it doesn't tell you at all that you're up. So I've missed my picks, and it's like some of them I've already had 2 quarterbacks that I want, don't even want anymore, and it gives me a third because that's what's next on the list.
Brutal.
So I definitely prefer Drafters really just overall compared to Underdog, to be honest with you. And not even because they sponsor us. It's just I think it's a better site. It's easier to draft on. And then you also don't have to worry about the week 15, 16, 17 correlation where that's like just an extra hassle.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm on the treadmill, I'm trying to go back and forth looking at these pictures, who's playing who in each of those weeks, and then drafting. But on this one, I've been doing this a lot lately. I've been getting Andrews in like this 1 through 4 spot. I take him first because I feel like if I get him, they're not going to take Lamar from me. But if I go Lamar first, people are fine taking Andrews by himself. So I've been getting Andrews, and then Lamar falls to me all the way to like 54 sometimes. So that's
like
I've been hitting up a ton in the last week or two.
Yeah, I've got some Lamar Andrews, Josh Allen, Kincaid. You can get them at ADP. So you saw who did that right there. Bro, he did that as well. Like those are pretty. Lamar Andrews, Allen Kincaid, Mahomes, Kelsey's pretty easy too. I had a Mahomes, Kelsey, Rice a little earlier as well. Like it's pretty easy to pair elite tight ends with those elite quarterbacks. Stroud, he's easy to get with the Tanks, with the Nicos of the world. So with how ADP is right now, it definitely is pretty solid or pretty easy to get elite stacks. I'll answer your question quick, Sean, or you can too. I'm on the clock right now.
Where are we at? Drafted. Ooh, I mean, I like both Hero RB and Zero RB, but I'm not going to pass up on like CMC at 1 to get more wide receivers. And then Bijan, I love Bijan this year. He was one of my faves last year. It kind of worked out for me. But this year, I sometimes want to take him over Jefferson and St. Brown. I haven't, but I'd be okay with it, to be honest with you. I'm big on Bijan this year.
Yeah.
But then, if I get one of those guys, then I'm cool just making a Hero RB, going like 6 wide receivers or 5 wide receivers and a tight end, something like that, and just really relying on that top guy.
That's what I did right here. So again, I drafted Brees, and I probably would have taken Gibbs. But again, I was talking and stuff, so I knew right away. Receiver gets thin pretty late. Like I think there's better running backs late because there's more injuries, there's more random stuff that happens. We saw it last year. Like you insert any running back into a scheme. If you give them 15, 20 touches, Deontay Foreman a couple of years back, there was Zach Moss last year, like one injury, the backup, whoever gets that role, it's so much easier to flourish. Whereas a wide receiver, even if you're stepping in as wide receiver 3 for an injury, well, if you're doing that for the Bengals, Jamar Chase and Higgins are going to get most of the touches, etc. So I do value, and people are figuring that out. It's not really a hot take anymore, but receivers, they go early a lot. So when I went 2 running backs, I knew I was going to take probably at least 3 receivers in my next 4 picks.
So far, I've been right on with my rankings. The only one I skipped 1 pick ahead was for that Andrews instead of Hollywood Brown. But I did think about going Hollywood Brown and then taking Mahomes. I would have just switched this guy probably. He would have taken Andrews and Lamar.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm cool with that. And other than that, I've just been taking the top pick on my rankings. So that's how I know I like where my rankings are at.
I love it. Yep, those rankings, again, on the site. If you're not a member, well, yep, you missed the free 15. So you do got to go to ShipItNation.com. Still cheapest in the industry. And we do have the Shiptimizer for free right now until August 5th. August 5th, it will be charged. Still less than $100 a month with content and Shiptimizer. NFL, we're ready for it. Showdown, we'll have the Shiptimizer for MLB, NBA, MMA, so much going on. Big Marley and I will be recording our MMA education video next week. Already at PGA, NFL, MLB, NBA, big boy PGA contest or events. What, the British Open this week? British, Scottish, I forget whatever they call it. Big boy prize pools out there as well. Tambo and Hoop will be going live after us. And then we also got a baseball show later too. So plenty going on in the summer on July 10th right now. Early baseball starting pretty soon. It's a good day to make some money.
Hell yeah, always.
Always. So I'm looking on the clock next. I do know who I want. Nice. George Kittle. Looking at it, wide receivers, they all were pretty big fall off for me. Jameson Williams does look solid, but I prefer him on like a DraftKings Underdog if I have to pick, because I think he's going to have those big weeks. He's going to be 5 for 120 with 2, and that's when you'll really need him. Drafters, you get guys that get like Tyler Lockett's of the world, like guys that get you consistently 11, 12, where you can use them on really bad weeks. Of course, spike weeks are important, but I care more about spikes weeks on those other sites where you hope to get spike weeks late.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of Jamison Williams, to be honest with you.
So right now,
I actually got to lower him in my rankings because I would take a couple of these guys ahead of him, to be honest.
I don't know. I might take him right now after just doing that, unless I go, you know what, I'll go Burrow.
Well, you got Gibbs, so I wouldn't be against it. And then you could always get Goff later with Gibbs and him together.
I was debating J-Mo to get another receiver, or I can go Burrow with my Higgins. And the reason I ended up going Burrow, because my receivers right now, Zay, we already got Lamar gone, so I can't get him. Rice, I got Pat Mahomes gone, so I couldn't get him. If I don't go Burrow now, that leaves Higgins out. So then I'm looking at Kittle, which I'm good with Purdy, Caleb Williams there too. But I just know that Burrow has that upside. He has that potential, and I get some correlation right there. But
hell yeah, I like Burrow. So I was looking at my Underdog rankings. What's up, Felix? And I have 23% Jamar Chase, and I'm only taking him at the 4 spot. So I must have the 4 spot a lot so far. He's my second highest owned guy on overall on Underdog right now.
I would take that any day, unless he keeps falling 5, 6. Yeah, I've got McCaffrey at 3.
Yeah, but I've never taken him 1, 2, or 3, so it's crazy that I have that much of him.
Yeah, definitely. What's going on, Tim? Yeah, next week it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern again. Like, again, sometimes it's like 5 minutes before. We're trying to get it around this time, but definitely try and hop in next time. Then it will go tonight, and we will let everyone know in the Discord and stuff what time, what's going on, Felix.
Yeah, I did a DraftKings show with Felix like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So if you guys play on DraftKings, you can go check that one out.
Let's go.
Basketball Nation, I believe.
Let's go. Love it. Big Marley up next. What you thinking, Big Marley?
Rankings has Samuel, but since I have Coleman and I don't have Allen, I'm not going to go with him. You know what? This one's for you, Felix. I'm taking Najee.
Hey, there you go. I've got a little Najee myself, too.
Felix has like a crazy amount of Najee. All right. Yeah, I got to go Palmer.
That was like Eagles last year. He flag planted his Najee against Brees. And I guess at the end it worked with Brees with how the Jets ended up. But yeah, I remember that one. How many teams do you think you'll have when it's all said and done?
He said he's got 95% Najee. That's insane.
95%? Oh my goodness.
I'll probably have. Well, I'm going to max this, and I'm going to max BBM 4. So I'll probably have at least 500.
Love it. Absolutely love it. My guess is I'll probably get to I'm loving it. Every time I fire these up, I get obsessed again. And then when I'm drafting 700, I get so burnt out. And I'm like all slow, 99.8% slow. The only slow or the only fast is on these live streams, or if I'm really bored, I try and fire up a higher stakes one. But
that's crazy.
I'm probably only going to have 300, I'm guessing, if I get there. And I'd be happy if I get 300. Are you guys bullish on Joshua Palmer? I don't know if bullish would be the right word, but he's kind of in that weird zone, like the Jamison Williams, Palmer, Lockett. Like I like J-Mo a little more, but I like Palmer more than Lockett, Samuel Sutton, I think. It's not often you get a wide receiver 1 at that ADP that should be trailing a lot, but man, they'll need to be trailing because they're going to want to run the heck out of the football. So
I actually have, I think on Drafters, my highest owned player right now is DJ Chark. So I like him a little bit more than Palmer at cost. I feel like he could take over Quentin Johnston's job, and he's like the last round or something like that. So I have a ton of Chark just because I'm fine getting him 10 spots ahead of ADP, still like 19th, 20th round, something. Whereas Josh Palmer, you're really paying a heavy price tag for him now, especially if you like Ladd McConkey, which I'm okay with Ladd, but I'm not forcing him at all. I'm definitely not taking him 5 spots ahead of ADP or anything like that. But these people around the Palmer, I'm fine. I'm definitely taking them over Sutton. I'm fine taking them over Lockett. I'm definitely taking them over Brooks. So just in his range, I like Palmer compared to where he's at. And if I get him, then I probably also get Chark later. I'm assuming I get Herbert at some point as well.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. So, there we go. So I was debating going Caleb Williams on that pick, but something important to look. You look ahead, especially on the turn. I saw the next guy had Richardson, so I didn't expect him to go anybody. And if Cujo in the 14th, in the 12th spot, if he went quarterback, I thought he was going to go Trevor Lawrence because he has Kirk and he didn't have any Chicago guys. If he had DJ Moore, I'd probably go Caleb Williams. But I thought he would come back to me. Big Marley's in a spot. If you're early in the draft or late in the draft, looking ahead is very important. I mean, it's always important to look ahead, but if you're in the 6, 7 spot, it's much harder with so many picks there. So I took my 2 quarterbacks. I'm done with quarterback right here. I got Williams. I got Burrow. Different bye weeks. Check the boxes. Higgins and Burrow, Adunze, and Caleb Williams. I'm good at quarterback, so I already know that for sure. It's a solid feeling. What's going on, Junior? Hope all is well. The SHIPIT band is back together. Best ball band back together. Feels good. We ride again. Hey, we got to get another shipper in the best ball streets at Drafters. Go collect. Absolutely the nut team last year. You needed Puka, and I definitely – and Kyron, actually. Puka, Kyron. I had hardly any Puka and hardly any Kyron because I drafted so many teams early. And again, that's something I think it's important to space it out. Puka was getting a lot of hype later in camp. That's when he was getting drafted in the later rounds there. You drafted like this time of year last year, nobody was taking Puka. So, yeah, that's another little thing to think of.
Yeah, I got killed last year because quarterback injuries. Most of my teams had 2 quarterbacks. I kind of faded the top, not really faded, but I was, I'd say, underweight to the top 4 guys. And all my guys ended up getting hurt. So most of my teams didn't even have a quarterback by the last half of the year.
That's the hard part for sure.
And then, yeah, I have Lawrence at the top of my rankings, but I'm not taking Lawrence if I don't have any Jacksonville people above that. I'm fine getting Lawrence and then getting a Gabe Davis right afterwards, but I don't love it. I would much rather have a Kirk or Ingram or Brian Thomas if I'm going to get a Lawrence.
Yep, I agree with you.
So I'm going to follow rankings. We're going Jerry Jeudy. I'm liking this team.
Yeah, I like your squad. I like what I'm doing too. I like it so far, but the draft's not over. That's the thing. These late picks, and that's where the fast draft. I got to really start locking in, looking ahead because I'm used to I have 8 hours. I can be staring at this all day if I want. Of course, I don't take 8 hours, but you can do a lot more diving. Got to plan ahead a little more here.
I can't believe you're already up to 52.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, when I fire them, I fire them. I just started going. I was like, let's go. And I actually had to unregister some because I was like, man, I don't want to make the same mistake of last year.
Yeah.
I want all of them done before August 31st, which is the wedding. But I want to try and time it right a couple days before because if I get Puka, when they're in camp and people are getting hype, ADPs change and stuff. You can get some flyers that absolutely can be league winners, as we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll start doing – I still have probably 10 of those $2 slow drafts going just because I saw it was filling. I was like, oh, shit, I need to get more in there. So I hit a bunch of the slow ones. But I don't want to get that confused with $15 slow ones. So once those are all done, I'll start doing a little bit of slows for the 15 as well. But I don't want to draft in the 15 thinking I'm only wasting $2 if I don't really care too much.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to go Mike Williams over Gabe. I mean, man, I'm just so bullish on the Jets. I still think Rodgers has that cannon. Think Garrett Wilson's going to be an absolute stud. Got Breece Hall, good defense. Obviously, the cold you don't love later in the year, but Rodgers played in the cold forever. Very bullish on the Jets, just like I was last year. And then if it takes a couple plays and they lose them, obviously it's no good.
Yeah, last year I think I had the 4th most Mike Williams of anybody in Best Ball Mania.
Wow.
And he went down early, so that freaking killed me. So this year I'm like, I like him, but I don't like him as much at his age after a torn ACL. But he's like my highest owned player every single year, probably the last 3-4 years. So I'm like, I can't miss out on him if he does go off this year. So I still have been getting probably at least 15% Williams, I would guess.
There you go.
And
So I
Gabe
went.
Davis last year was my number 1 wide receiver.
Big Gabe. Who was mine? I had a bunch of Corey Davis on Underdog, and the dude retires. Another thing drafting early. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, Tim Patrick was my guy. 2 years in a row, getting him
Yep.
early, and then 18% or so, and then he goes down.
Yeah, that's because people always ask, like, when's the optimal time to draft? And I respond, I don't know when there'll be enough years of sample size that you can feel comfortable on that. Because a lot of times how draft boards work, like injuries kill everything, which is variance. You can't predict that. But what we do know, the earlier you draft, the more you can beat ADP and get different combination of teams. However, you have to be fine with injuries, dead teams. Like if you're drafting a wide receiver 3 in competition, he might not see any snaps. However, on the flip side, you draft later, ADP is usually sharper, teams look more similar, but you have way less injuries and dead people. Dead teams, I guess, not dead people. So it's a trade-off, I guess. That's why I like diversifying. If you plan on drafting 100 teams, 30 July, 30 in August, and mix and match there. So that's my thoughts. Big Marley's on the clock.
I'm going to take Ty Chandler. Just, repeat last year. I was heavy on my Minnesota running backs. Didn't really work out for me very well, but we'll go back to it. And then I was kind of thinking Taysom would fall to me here since they took Taysom off a tight end over at Underdog. So I got to get on my Taysom shares over here on Drafters now.
There you go. That's a good point.
Full point PPR, like you kind of want guys that are going to catch the ball, but Taysom can do it all. So I always like to get a good amount of him. And I was loading up on Juwan Johnson. I feel like he's a solid last pick play at tight end. And then he gets that foot injury news. So that kind of been backing off of him. And now I'm kind of thinking he'll be back by the start of the year or maybe miss a couple weeks or something like that. So I've been drafting some more Juwan Johnson lately too, but not with Taysom Hill. I get one or the other.
I definitely would go one or the other as well. So right now I know I have 2 tight ends, Kittle, Kmet. I want Kmet to get another Caleb Williams pairing. I have 2 quarterbacks, Burrow, Williams. So I know right now I'm done drafting QB. I'm done drafting tight end. I have 2 stud running backs. So again, I'm good getting some more running backs, good filling out more receiver. But I know 2 of the positions I'm done. So that makes drafting live really easy for me.
Yeah, I like your team a lot.
It's lining up. Go to your team, talk about your team a little too. No bye week is nice. Lamar with the Andrews. You weigh down running back a little bit, but that's why you got 4, so that looks good. I like your team too. You're good at so you're good at tight end, right? Like you're not going to be drafting any more tight ends, I take it.
Correct, unless I correlate with my second quarterback somewhere.
Okay.
Whoever the hell that's going to be. I don't know who the heck I'm going to get here for my second quarterback, to be honest.
Oh, gosh. It's getting tough down here.
Damn, golf is falling big time. All right, there he goes.
Man. It is tough down here. I think I want to go another running back. I'm going to go Gibson. 3rd down back. If he can somehow get, which you'd never cheer for an injury, but somehow Ramondre goes down or something, still expect Patriots to hammer the football. They can't drop back a million times, so.
Yeah, Gibson's one of my I'll hop on him if I'm like struggling to find a second quarterback. I'll try to go like Gibson, Henry, and one of their wide receivers. And then I'll take Drake May or whatever his name is.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some teams that you just kind of got to fall back on. Like you don't know who your second quarterback's going to be. You got to start going after Denver players or New England players, Carolina players, something like that I don't really love. But last year that worked out for me, put me on CJ Stroud, which I didn't really love CJ going into the year, but he was always my fallback second quarterback.
And yeah, that definitely worked out. Yeah, I didn't have enough. Good for you. Baker was another one I didn't have enough, but you can get there late. So I know I'm going receiver. Oh, gosh. Wilson, Bateman, I'm going to go. I keep talking up the Jets, and I have no Jets right now. I don't make a case to leave like with at least one player on a certain team, but I've left a lot of drafts. I guess I do have Breece Hall too, but I love the Jets. I love Atlanta this year. At ADP, who's another team I've been getting a decent amount? I think Minnesota's interesting. The fact, like, I always love Jefferson, Addison at ADP. I like him. I like Chandler at ADP as well. Aaron Jones, I'm fine with. But I like a lot of dome teams, and people are down on Minnesota this year because of the quarterback position.
Yeah, I don't have a. Yeah, I guess if I'm not taking Jefferson, if he's there at 6, I'm taking him.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I am. But I'm not taking him over Chase or Tyreek or
quarterback. So stopping there, and then I know my next pick hopefully as well. All right.
20 rounds just gets so tough. There you go. You get your Lamar Bateman. I was considering Bateman that there too. I did know when I'm within coin flips and stuff, especially when I know the homies in the draft. Maybe you lead on the other side. But if he was the only guy I wanted, I would have done it.
Yeah, I've been getting Corley a lot too, especially on my Mike Williams teams when I'm like, okay, who's my second quarterback going to be? I'll go Aaron Rodgers, Corley. Yep. And then I get a lot of Braylon Allen as well on those teams too.
Braylon Allen, I like it. It is tough.
I like the end of the draft this year. I really never struggle on these last few rounds so far. Maybe I'm completely off, but that's where my highest exposures are is because, like, who we got? Chark, who I mentioned already. I got a lot of Justice Hill, just thinking that Raymond, is that his name? Thinking he won't be back yet. I got Hill all the way up here, right behind Shipley. So that's one of my bigger stands is Justice Hill.
Okay.
I really don't mind any of these late round running backs. So I'm cool having 4 running backs through most of the draft, and then I'll end up with 6 getting 2 of those late guys. Yeah, my favorite build I'd say would be 3-6-9-2 or 2-6-9-3.
I like it. So you said 3 for either quarterback or tight end. You've been averaging.
Yeah, I get 2 of one and then 3 of the other most likely.
So I'm gonna go Khalil Herbert to get another Chicago piece. Caleb Williams, Khalil Herbert, Adunze, Cole Kmet. I'm totally good right there with stacking Chicago.
I like it. We'll see if Herbert's even on Chicago, but if so, I like him as a talent.
I mean, I love him as a talent. There's no doubt. I mean, explosive. I mean, big play upside, explosive, can catch passes. I definitely like him as a talent this late, but it's more opportunity. And again, a lot of these backup running backs, like you're just hoping to get the injuries, and hoping's the wrong word, but injuries, backup running backs fall into touches, and from there, you're golden.
Yeah, for me, a lot of these backups, it's like I have a lot of their starters. So if that fails for me, if he does get injured, then hopefully the backup comes through, and I got a lot of him as well. Like Breece Hall. I got Breece Hall at 8. His ADP's 9. So I'm going to get a little bit more than the field of him just because I have him 1 ahead. So if that fails, I have a lot of Braylon Allen just in case.
Yep. I want receiver. Man, it is. Take the rookie. Take the upside. Baker played great. Godwin, Mike Evans. Plenty of openings. One-on-one coverage. A lot of hype on Godwin. Should be a target monster like he was a couple years back with Brady is what it sounds like.
Back in the slot,
Yeah,
I like him. I kind of have him right around ADP, though, so I'm not getting like a ton of them, but he's one of those that's like it's usually Keenan Allen or him that I have to decide between.
I've been siding, I try and diversify with so many teams, but I do side Godwin there just because, I mean, there's so much competition in Chicago. Like, they can run the football, it gets cold, but Adunze, Keenan, DJ Moore, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I mean, DJ Moore was so good at the end of the year last year, but Keenan's always him too. I love Keenan. His route running is next level, so.
All right, I'm just going to go off rankings, take Dobbins.
They're going to want to run the football, run the football, run the football.
Shit, that's fast. So usually I would end up taking Chark here, but since I have Palmer and no Herbert, I won't be taking Chark in this draft. All right, I guess I'm going to go my 6th running back, which I prefer running backs late. I don't really love these 20th round wide receivers. I'm cool getting like an Odell. And if I don't get Odell, then Washington, just one of those two, hoping that they can make some noise at the 3rd. But yeah, I don't have any like different plays. I don't really scroll down a ton at wide receiver. I'm not getting any of these guys, you know?
Yeah, that's a weird. We talked about a little bit earlier. Yeah, it's easier. It feels more comfortable taking a shot on these running backs later than it does wide receivers. But that's not a hot take anymore. As you see, if you look at it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, running backs in the first round, you can even go 8 years ago, how much there's no best ball, but season long has changed. Running backs used to be alphas. Now it's wide receivers. People are ahead of or I guess might be behind the curve now, but the league's changed. It's more of a passing offense. Injuries are tough. There's just not workhorse running backs like there was back in the day where people are getting 25, 30 touches a game.
Yeah, and with this build, since I'm cool with these 2 quarterbacks and I'm cool with these 2 tight ends, I probably will throw on a 7th running back in this one, make it 2-7-9-2.
2-7-9-2. Let's see.
I guess Tillman would be my scroller. He was someone I was scrolling to get a little bit, but now it's like ADP caught up a little bit, and he's not even that contrarian anymore.
Yeah, so like right down here, I like to look at, is there any Cincy receivers? Is there any Chicago receivers at somewhat ADP? There's just not. So, and again, that's fine. Yeah. You don't have to over-correlate on drafters by any means because it's more like a cash game. If you need to stay healthy, you need to avoid the bye week problems, but week 1 is the same as week 17. That's why correlation, run backs like Big Marley was talking. If you are, hold on, I'm on the clock. If you are drafting on Underdog or DraftKings, we do have it pinned week 15, 16, 17, the matchups highlighted in dome games from Big Marley. So definitely check that out. See, like right now, I think I'm going to go Hyatt, and I just took Slayton. But my thought process there is let's just hope one of them is way better. Like they get all the opportunity of the other. Slayton's more of a possession catcher. Hyatt's a big speed burner, etc. But drafting 2 late receivers on the same team, hoping one just absolutely takes the other spot, gets 80% of snaps. I'm hoping one of them outperforms ADP. One of them won't be, but there's 20 rounds. You don't need everybody. Like you look at the winning teams. Can't remember exactly for Go Collect, but I remember mine. Alexander Madison, hardly used him ever. Nick Westbrook-Akine, used him like 2 weeks. Corey Davis, a couple of weeks. Like you do not – it's the main guys, the hogs, that you need, and the late round guys that carry you. So, yeah, I'm fine. I like doing that, like 2 receivers, same team, wide receiver 3, hope one excels. Yeah, Evosis, I'm trying to – Princeton dude, absolute stud. I can't even – I don't know why I'm blanking on how to pronounce his name, but he is a stud. He got his opportunities last year against the Steelers. I do like him. The thing is, it's still like there's so much competition there.
Guess I am taking a 3rd quarterback. Carr fell to 218. I figured I'd take Perry, see if Carr falls. That way I got Kamara.
I call him Yoshi. Yeah, Yoshi's way easier.
And Carr. I'm going 3-6-9-2, my favorite build.
There you go. Oh, hold on. Reconnect. Yeah, Yoshi's a lot easier. Yeah, Dylan, put those parentheses because now it's bugging me. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go to YouTube and look at it again. But he is good for sure.
Yeah, that's somebody. If I have Burrow, I'll look at that guy in the 20th, sometimes even the 19th round. As long as I don't have like Burton and Higgins or Chase and Higgins. If I only have one, I'll definitely look at that guy.
Yeah.
And Gesicki too. I get a decent amount of Gesicki on my Burrow teams.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said like Big Marley, I like these late drafts or these late rounds.
I only like it at running back because I get a lot of Shipley, I get a lot of Sermon, I get a lot of Gainwell. If I don't get Shipley, I don't really have a preference between Madison. I mean, I should, since Madison, I was super high on him last year. I pick him sometimes over this guy, but I really have no idea what they're going to do. I kind of just lean on Zamir White. I would much rather pay up for Zamir White than get these backups. But I'm okay getting a little bit of Dillon. Like, I'm just cool with these late round running backs. Usually Justice Hill is there for the taking, but somebody already grabbed him.
So if you were me, would you go another tight end or would you go another running back?
I would definitely want 6 running backs.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning to.
I rarely have 10 wide receivers, actually. I usually stop at 9.
The thing is, like, I had an 18th pick, a 17th round pick, a 16. Like, it's hardly when I went 2 running backs early, I figured I was either 9 or 10. I was almost always going to have.
I feel like I get 9 on damn near every team, to be honest with you, unless it's one of those where I start out, my first 6 picks are all wide receivers. Yeah. Then maybe I'll go, the extra running back over wide receiver. But I feel like probably 80% of my teams have 9 wide receivers.
And I almost look at mine as 9 because, again, I went Slayton and Hyatt. I don't expect both to be anything. One I expect to be pretty much irrelevant. So that kind of thought process like that too. But I was thinking running back too, but I want to see your thoughts. Yeah, 2, 6, 10, 2. Definitely more unique than what people do. We'll go through and talk about it too. But, I mean, I went QB and tight end relatively early with 2 picks.
All right, I'll take Tillman.
All right, talk about your team, Big Marley.
Dig it. All right, went with the Lamar Andrews stack out of the gate. I have a ton of that just because I'll take Andrews first and just expect the person in the 1, 2, or 3 spot not to take Lamar because of it, because I know they're probably not going to have Zay also. So Andrews paired with Lamar. Then we got Watson paired with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. Got Derek Carr paired with Kamara, A.T. Perry, and Taysom Hill. Kind of, I don't know how much Carr and Hill will correlate, but when Carr doesn't score at the goal line, Kamara doesn't score at the goal line, I feel like it's going to be Hill. One of them is going to give me those touchdowns. And then I like my running backs with Kamara, especially in a full-point PPR. We got Felix's boy Najee, Blake Corum, where he's kind of a backup. I like Kyron Williams a lot this year, but if I'm not getting Kyron Williams, I kind of try and get Blake Corum. I don't want them really both on the same team, but I definitely want one on as many teams as I can get one of them on. Ty Chandler, maybe Jones will go down. J.K. Dobbins, don't really know what the heck the Chargers are going to do at running back this year, so I've been mixing in all 3 of their guys. And then Rashawn Johnson, same thing. I've been mixing in Swift, Johnson, and Herbert because I have no idea what they're going to do, especially at their number 2 running back position. So I'm cool with those guys. CeeDee Lamb is my best player on the team. He destroyed it last year. I expect him to do the same thing. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. When I got Devontae, I was expecting to get Hurts, but he was gone. So that's why I went with the Andrews-Lamar pairing instead. Keon Coleman, he was my favorite rookie to watch highlights of this year so far. And now he's got Josh Allen throwing him the ball. So I like him a lot this year. Josh Palmer, Jerry Jeudy paired up. And then Bateman, I forgot about him. Bateman tied up with Lamar as well. A.T. Perry, Cedric Tillman. And then Mark Andrews and Taysom Hill at tight end. So I like my team quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I like your team too. The only thing maybe I would do is wouldn't have went Carr and went one more running back, maybe would be the only thing. My team, 2, 6, 10, 2, Burrow with Higgins, Caleb Williams with Herbert, Adunze, Cole Kmet. So I got some correlation. I like that. I went hero running back early. I went Breece Hall, Gibbs, and then I waited, obviously. Then I went Zay, Higgins, Rice, Adunze, just 4 receivers straight. Because, again, I went 2 hero running backs. I knew I was going to wait a little while. Waited till Gibson, Herbert. I mean, these backups, Gibson, Herbert, P. Ryan. Gainwell, not really so as much. Maybe not even P. Ryan. Like, Stevenson goes down. Somehow, or Herbert is way ahead of Roshan, let's say, and then Swift goes down. Maybe Herbert gets his 15, 20 touches. I think there's upside for both Gibson and Herbert. They'll have a role. At least I think they'll have a role regardless in the beginning of the year, and they have upside to take over with Shipley there as well. Saquon, Gainwell, more of an unknown, but man, Gainwell's been a part of the team for so long. Sirianni can trust him. Third down back. I think he'll have a role somewhat. Receivers. I mean, again, I got my correlation. Gabe Davis, Jacoby, again, the Hyatt, Slayton, hoping one of them takes a wide receiver 3 and explodes. Hyatt, a big play guy, Slayton possession. And then George Kittle, Komet. I went Komet because of the Caleb Williams. I feel good. Burrow, Caleb Williams, just 2 quarterbacks. If they do what they should do, or like what they're supposed to do at ADP, both have a lot of talent around them. I only need 2 quarterbacks. Of course, if they get injured, my team's pretty much drawing dead, but you need to run as good as possible to win these tournaments anyway. So you can't be really predicting injuries like that. I feel fine with Kittle and Komet. I like my team. 2, 6, 10, 2.
Yeah. Only guy I don't really like is P. Ryan. I don't think I have a single P. Ryan share this year.
I'm hoping.
I was fading him last year as well, and it really worked out for me. So maybe it's kind of going back to the well.
What am I hoping? A veteran running back in a run-first offense. It gets cold, maybe catches some passes. That's what I'm hoping. I think they run the heck out of the football. And yeah, I think they rotate. So that's what I take them at. 230 or 226. Like it was either him or Gainwell when I was debating. And I was like, all right, the ADP is a little higher for P. Ryan, so maybe I can get Gainwell on the way back. Really not hoping for much.
Full point PPR is really where you'd want him anyways. I feel like if he's going to get any work, it's mostly in the passing game. So drafters, DraftKings, I know I have 0 P. Ryan over on Underdog, but if I do get him, it's because I need a running back late, and it would be on one of these full point PPR sites.
So yeah, look at those last after Shipley, Gainwell. Like, do you like any? Like, who do you like more of those guys, or some of the undrafted? Is there any? It's hard to see the undrafted, I guess, now. Yeah, I don't think there even is a way. But, like, who's a couple guys you'd be going over P. Ryan? There's not even – I don't even know how you see it. What are your rankings?
I take all 3 of these guys over him. I also take Madison over him. I take Trey Sermon over him. If I don't get Justice Hill, then I'm fine taking the guy that got hurt. I always space on his name. Raymond or –
No, Keaton Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell. Yeah, him. And then if they're both gone, I'll take their rookie. I don't even know his name. Something Ali. So I feel like one of those guys, because Derrick Henry's so old at this point, I just don't trust him to go a full season. If he's going to go down, they're still going to be using running back. So I always get one of those guys super late if I need one.
I will say, he said, I'd rather take Killian Robinson. I mean, I don't have strong hot takes down here. I don't want anybody in my portfolio to be 30% plus. I want to mix and match. But one thing I lean on a little bit if I'm in between stuff, rookie receivers over a veteran more, because I think the upside is there. And if they absolutely ball out, as we saw with Puka, like there's more unknowns. I think there's more upside. I lean veteran running backs a little more than I lean rookie running backs late, because the later in the year gets or an injury happens, coaches usually trust the vets a little more, especially if the rookies weren't high draft capital picks, which we're not drafting high capital picks in rounds 19 and 20. Again, I'll be mixing and matching all of them. I'm not going to put I don't know. P. Ryan might be absolutely awful. I'd expect that. But rookie receivers, veteran running backs, just a little lean in between stuff. Yeah, if you're not supposed to get cut, put him on another team for me. That's fine too.
Yeah, if he gets cut, he'll probably go back to the Bengals. That works even better.
There you go. And lands in a good spot. I would definitely take that as well. Drafting this time of year, like stuff like that's going to happen. And Cam Akers goes down, like you saw 2 years ago. Darrell Henderson, his ADP went from like 14 to 5. Then backup running backs, people trade teams. You're drafting now. You're drafting a lot of unknown stuff too. If P. Ryan right now does not land on a team and I get a 0, this team can still ship with P. Ryan on the team. Like there's 20 rounds, 17 on Underdog, or is it 16? I want to say it's 17.
Yeah, ideally you're not going to need P. Ryan getting them that late anyways. Hopefully you're going to be really relying on Breece Hall and Jahmyr Gibbs to be your starters every single week.
Exactly. If you're going to ship, it's going to be because of Breece Hall and Gibbs at running back for sure. Awesome stuff. Any final thoughts, Big Marley? Again, next week, same time, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. After that, it will be at night. Hopefully, we'll get more of you in the draft as well. If you're watching on playback, watching live, appreciate a like button as always. Subscribe button. Golf show coming up with Hoop and Tambo. MLB show with G Ryzen and BJ. A lot of money to be made, Big Marley. What do you think today?
Yeah, man, that was fun. Looking forward to the next one. I'm going to be in the same spot as you. Hopefully we don't fill these things before all of our live shows are up, but I'll be paying attention to that. I look forward to these every week. So, yeah, it was a fun time. I like both of our teams. So, hopefully one of us guys a shipper in this one.
Wouldn't that be something? A live shipper, the first one we did this year. Drafters.com, if you're not a member, use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100% up to $100. Get in the Discord as well. Get over to Shipping Nation. Have a good day, everybody out there. Good luck. Enjoy some golf. Enjoy some baseball. Let's make some cheese for Big Marley. I'm Titletown. Peace.